In 1997, a gang stole nearly $19 million in cash from an armored car depot, the largest cash robbery in the history of the United States. There were no alarms, no shootout, no chase. Because the man behind it knew exactly where every camera pointed and every blind spot in the building. He worked there. It was almost the perfect crime. Almost. This is the story of the Dunbar armored heist. Welcome to Curio Hour, where we uncover the strange, the unsolved, and the unforgettable. Today's story, the Dunbar armored heist. Our story takes place in Los Angeles, California, in September of 1997. In an industrial part of the city stood a large, secure building owned by the Dunbar Armored Company. Dunbar was an armored car company. Its trucks carried cash all over the city, to and from banks and businesses, and its depot was where that money was stored and counted. At any given time, the depot could hold enormous sums of cash. It was a fortress protected by alarms, vaults, and a network of security cameras watching every corner. On a normal day, breaking into such a place would be nearly impossible. The security was designed to stop exactly that kind of attack from the outside. But the Dunbar heist did not come from the outside. It came from within, planned by someone who understood the building's defenses better than almost anyone alive. That someone was a man named Alan Pace. And he did not have to break into the depot. He had the keys. Alan Pace worked for Dunbar as a regional safety inspector. It was a position of deep trust, and it gave him something priceless: complete knowledge of the building's security. As a safety inspector, Pace's job was to examine the depot systems. He knew where every camera was mounted, and crucially, where they were not. He had reportedly even photographed the building's layout during his inspections, mapping out the cameras, the vault, and the routines of the staff. Pace had been let go from the company, but his intimate knowledge remained. And he decided to use it for the heist of a lifetime. He gathered a crew of trusted men, friends he had known for years, people he believed would never betray him. Loyalty would be the foundation of the whole plan. The plan relied on three things: Pace's inside knowledge, the element of surprise, and striking at exactly the right moment, late on a Friday night. Friday night was when the depot held a huge amount of cash, gathered from the week's collections, waiting to be processed. The timing was everything. Pace knew the staff would be thin, the guards few, and the building at its most vulnerable. He knew the exact path to take to avoid every camera. On the night of the heist, Pace used a copied key to slip into the building, bringing his crew with him, moving through the carefully chosen blind spots. Their first target was the guards. The crew ambushed the security staff, catching them by surprise and subduing them before any alarm could be raised. With the guards under control, the gang had the run of the building. And then they went for the vault, the heart of the operation. Inside, they found exactly what Pace had promised: cash in enormous quantities sitting in the depot, ready to be taken. But here they made a clever choice. They did not grab everything blindly. They focused on the most valuable bundles, the large bills, the easiest to carry and to use. Working quickly, the crew loaded the money into a waiting truck they had brought right up to the loading dock, hidden from view. Bag after bag of cash was carried out and stacked into the vehicle. The amount was staggering, far more than almost any robbery before it. When they were finished, they had taken $18.9 million in cash. Nearly $19 million in a single night. Then they simply drove away into the Los Angeles night, leaving the subdued guards behind. The largest cash robbery in American history was complete. When the crime was discovered, investigators were stunned. The robbery had been executed with such precision, that it was clearly an inside job. Whoever did this had known the building intimately. They had avoided the cameras, known the schedule, and moved like they owned the place. Suspicion naturally turned to current and former employees. Alan Pace, the former safety inspector, was an obvious person of interest. But suspicion is not proof. And Pace had been careful. There was no clear evidence tying him or his crew to the scene. They had worn gloves, avoided the cameras, and left little behind. For a while, the trail went cold. The crew, meanwhile, had nearly $19 million to deal with. And this is where every great heist faces its true test. Not the theft, but what comes after. They knew they could not suddenly flaunt their wealth. Sudden riches are the fastest way to attract attention. So they tried to lie low and spend carefully. For a remarkably long time, it worked. Months passed, then years. The crew held their nerve, kept their secret, and avoided the mistakes that catch most robbers. Most heists unravel within days because someone talks or spends too fast or cannot resist showing off. The Dunbar crew did none of those things, and for years they got clean away with it. The Dunbar heist looked like it might join the small, legendary list of perfect crimes, robberies that were never solved. But then came the slip. The fatal mistake came not from a dramatic shootout or a betrayal, but from a single, careless detail involving the money itself. One of the crew members was trying to use some of the stolen cash to invest in a business deal. To do so, he handed over a stack of bills. But the cash he handed over was still bound in the original wrappers. Wrappers stamped with markings that tied them directly to the Dunbar robbery. The person who received the marked money recognized the danger or grew suspicious, and the trail led investigators straight back toward the crew. It was the thread that unraveled everything. From that one careless handful of cash, the authorities began to close in. One by one, the members of the crew were identified and arrested. And as the pressure mounted, the loyalty that had held the gang together began to crack. Alan Pace, the mastermind, was caught. The near-perfect crime had been undone, not by brilliant detective work alone, but by a basic, avoidable error. Pace and his crew were convicted for the robbery. The mastermind received a long prison sentence for orchestrating the historic heist. It was a sobering end. The men had pulled off the largest cash robbery in the nation's history, only to be undone by a stack of bills in the wrong wrapper. But the story has one final, tantalizing twist. Because even after the convictions, most of the money was never recovered. Of the nearly $19 million stolen, only a fraction was ever found by investigators. The vast majority simply vanished. Millions of dollars from the Dunbar heist remain unaccounted for to this day. Hidden, spent, or buried somewhere, waiting. Some believe the money is still out there, stashed away by the crew, perhaps to be enjoyed after their release from prison. Others think it was quietly laundered and spent long ago. But no one has ever produced the full sum, and the location of the missing millions remains a mystery. It is one of the strange ironies of the case. The robbery was solved, the men were caught and convicted, and yet the prize at the center of it all was never truly found. The Dunbar armored heist remains the largest cash robbery in United States history. A near-perfect crime built on inside knowledge and patience. Brought down in the end by a single careless detail, and leaving behind a fortune in cash that, more than 2 decades later, has still never been found. $19 million, an inside man, and a stack of bills in the wrong wrapper. The Dunbar armored heist.